All right, welcome to Blackwood95 Gen XP. This is our fourth episode as the trio are going to investigate Hendrik House now at night. Somewhere in the woods out back, the groundskeeper Bart is out there with a flashlight. You have a key to the back door of the house. You've learned a little bit of things, a little bit of clues and whatnot. You've learned about Bartimus Hendrik's revolver, which was used by his wife to take her own life. He wanted to use it, apparently, according to eyewitness reports, for his own death, but died from tuberculosis. You learned that he's a vengeful spirit and that can only be killed by what you believe to be that revolver itself. And you also learned that someone broke into the crypt recently out back of the house, and one of the tombstones, or one of the resting places, the sarcophaguses, were cracked. So, as you step out of the Cadillac, as the sun is now fully down, the sky is growing darker and darker by the moment. A few stars are starting to peek out. You can hear music from the bars in town, a little bit of music that kind of drifts on the night air up. You see the flashlight kind of wobbling around in the forest out the back of the property. Where are you three going, and what are you doing?
So, first I'm going to ask you guys, because I don't know that I got the chance. When you guys were down in the basement, did you find anything, a note down there?
Believe there were blueprints for that gun, weren't there?
You did see blueprints. You saw workbenches for building guns, but you were distracted by a loud noise before you really had much time to look around.
I did take a bunch of pictures. I'll have to look back through those.
There were pieces of guns as well.
There were.
But not a full, not enough to build an entire gun. I think there was like 3 pieces, if I remember correctly.
If we don't find anything at the crypt, I think it's definitely a legitimate idea to go take another look down there.
Well, yeah, I hate to say it with the luck that we had last time, but another alternative may be his bedroom. If he was reaching for the pistol on his deathbed, maybe it's still up there.
I would say that more than likely, if it's his pistol, it was either buried with him or it's in a museum. So that's my honest opinion. I don't, especially, look around this town. Everything is devoted to this family.
Right, absolutely.
If they didn't bury it with him, I would say that we can check the bedroom definitely, but my guess it's in one of those 2 places.
All right. Well, it's getting dark, and we know that if we split up, it might not be a good idea. So should we stick together here? And
I'm fine with that. I'll lead the way to the crypt.
Let's go.
All right, sounds good.
3 of you were going to head to the crypt?
So I'm going to arm myself. First of all, I've got my my D-cell mag light on me.
Okay.
And then also make sure I have several pocketfuls of rock salt.
Okay. All right. But then
I don't think I'm going to need the sniper rifle on this one.
Right. So you open the trunk and it's got like the fold-out weapons racks. You're taking some rock salt, but leaving the rifle in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. But then the 3 of you make your way along the... there's a stone path that kind of leads through the grounds out in the direction where you see the flashlight. You start to hear... Basically, you can hear Bart, who you know is out here. He's kind of like singing under his breath to himself. And you hear like the sound of like a rake. But he's... You make your way along this... Not an overgrown path, but it wouldn't be clearly obvious just from walking around on the grounds that it was here, especially if there wasn't somebody out there with a flashlight. But you make your way out along the pathway, kind of twists and turns through a couple of wooded areas, and then there is a very elegant, very well-made stone mausoleum crypt that sits back in the woods. It's very dark under the trees, but your flashlight does throw a good amount of light, as well as it looks like Bart has a flashlight in one hand and is just kind of raking. He's got like a short rake that he's just kind of raking some grass and leaves away from the walkway. But he does see your flashlight coming, stops, and like looks up and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, I was just doing some last minute stuff before it was fully dark. I hadn't gotten out here in a couple days, so I just figured I'd get to it. What's up?"
Oh, we were just coming to see if there was a hell party going on.
Oh yeah. Well, not tonight. Well, probably not until, if there is going to be one, they will probably wait till we leave. But yeah, they might. You know, they're good kids. And, you know, I used to party up here myself. In fact.
Oh man. Haven't we all, man? You mind if we take a look while you're finishing up here?
No, it's fine. In fact, the door's still open. I haven't done anything as far as there's a lock on that, but I haven't bothered to lock it back up yet because I was gonna take some pictures and send it to the foundation. I just haven't got around to it yet. I didn't think it was connected, but then the old guy dying, sorry, your buddy, kind of distracted me. But yeah, you can take a look around. Just
foundation.
What's that?
Who you keep saying send pictures to the foundation, and the foundation's gonna repair it. Who's the foundation?
It's the
Are they local?
Foundation.
Are they local? No. They're based in New York, and some in Rochester and some in Buffalo, and there's a couple in Philly and Pittsburgh. But the foundation is all over the East Coast. But there's a board of directors. The guy that I report to, my boss, his name is Connor Trent. I just call him Connor, but yeah, Connor Trent. He works for the foundation, the Hendrik Foundation. But you know, I send him stuff, and then he takes it to his boss, and the foundation checks.
And he's not local. He's in one of those other cities.
He's in Rochester. Yeah, he lives up there.
And there's nobody else tied to the foundation. Does anybody come to town very often from the foundation and talk to people or check up on stuff? Or
I'd say like somebody from the foundation comes into town maybe every 6-7 months. Comes in. Sometimes they come in and take pictures of the house. Every once in a while, somebody comes in and they take like they'll be donating a painting that's still in the house to like a museum or something. They come in, and if they're gonna like when the hospital got a new wing that was paid for by the foundation, so they had a suit come in and pose for pictures, that sort of thing.
Anybody come in and talk to the police sergeant though?
You mean about your buddy that got killed?
No, just anybody from the foundation. Or has the sergeant? Do you know has the sergeant seen anybody else?
Oh, well, I don't really know. I mean, if they've come in to talk to the sergeant, they haven't talked to me about it. But I mean, I'm just the groundskeeper. I don't really know who comes in to talk to the sergeant, if anybody.
Was it only the sergeant questioning you when the body was found the other day?
Yeah. Just. I mean, we've only got like 2 cops in town, thankfully. But yeah, it was Sergeant Barnes that came out. But Captain Spence, I don't see him too often, so he's the other cop. I see him every once in a while at the diner, but yeah, only one that came out to check on the body and was Sergeant Barnes. He's not.
Have you ever had any?
I'm not really. We get along okay, but he's busted my chops a couple times.
Has he busted you, like open containers or weed or anything?
I mean, before I was 21 on a regular basis for the beer and stuff, but I'm pretty careful about stuff anymore. So,
yeah, he seems like a dick.
For sure. As you're having this conversation, a loud thunk and crack sound. Something falls inside of the crypt, which is only maybe 20 feet from you, just kind of echoes inside. The door is propped open maybe a few inches, but Bart kind of jumps and like looks over and he's like, "What was that?"
Oh, I don't know. Let's take a look, guys.
When you start going, Bart
put my
follows
light
along. Bart's like got his flashlight up and is following along with you.
All right.
grab a handful of rock salt from my pocket.
Okay.
Bart, you might want to wait back here just in case.
Way back here, man. Like, you think it's dangerous? Like,
You never know. I mean, something did happen earlier, I thought.
That
And the
guy
guy
here
died.
the other day.
The guy was shot. So what if whoever shot him is hiding out in the crypt right now?
for real? Okay, yeah, that's probably a bad thing. Like, should I go call the cops?
No, I don't think you should call the cops, but I think maybe, Frank here is a professional. He's supposed to be looking into this and we're helping him out. So we signed on for a little bit of danger, but I don't know if I look at him. Did you?
No, man, I signed on to mow yards and rake leaves.
All right, then maybe you want to go back to the house and just wait to hear from us. Don't call the cops. We've got a officer already. We don't need any more.
All right, man. I'm gonna head back up to the house and I'm gonna lock up everything. I'll leave the back door. You already got the key, so I can't lock that. But I'll leave the back door for you guys. But I'm gonna start locking the property up because I want to get out of here and go play some Nintendo. So all right, so I'll meet you back up there. But let me know what's going on. And then he kind of like turns and like.
And if you hear anything, Bart, just scream.
For sure, yeah. He like lights a cigarette up and starts walking back towards the house. Just leaves his rake like propped up against a tree. And the three of you are left standing at the crypt.
All right, so I got my light on the door, shining inside. What kind of door is it? A lot of them have like the iron bar things.
It's like iron bars with a slab of marble inside of an iron bar set. So it's big, heavy door on a solid post hinge. It looks like there's an old
two
iron
doors. There's like an iron door, like the iron grate on the outside, and then like a solid marble door on the inside.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
But it is open about an inch or two.
Just the inside one, right?
It's all one door. The iron grate and the marble are all one piece.
Okay, it's one door. All right, I got you. Is it open in or out?
Opens outwards.
How heavy is it?
I would think.
I mean, looking at it, you're guessing it's hundreds of pounds.
At least 5 pounds of 10.
Yeah.
Solid marble.
Yeah, it's like a 7-foot slab of marble with iron on the outside of it. It's a lot.
All right, so yeah, I'm kind of shooting a light, in there, trying to see if it catches anything. I mean, 2 inches isn't a whole lot.
Okay.
I say just hold the light there, and I stick my head through the door.
So,
well,
Frank,
if it opens out, we might want to like just pull on it and get it open. So
Frank, what he means is, and this is something you've not seen before from Jacob, when he says he sticks his head through the door, he doesn't mean through the hole. He means his head passes through the door. So you're flashing the light through the crack in the door, and you watch for a second as Jacob's head passes through the physical structure.
Through the middle of the door.
No, I'm literally saying that, well, why don't we open the door so you don't stick your head, so you can stick your head in there, and then he sticks his head in anyways. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
So, Jacob, as your head passes through the door, you look around, you can see the beam from Frank's flashlight kind of wobbling back and forth through the crack that the door allows. It throws long shadows across all of the walls. This is a family crypt, so there's just walls of burial plots that have been sealed up with marble faceplates. Shadows are deep in all of the corners, but at one point the flashlight crosses across one of the plates very near the front left of the crypt that has a diagonal crack in it. And for a moment, there's a young woman standing there with long hair in a braid in an old dress. But as the light passes across her, you lose sight of her, and then when the light comes back, she's gone.
I pull my head back and I say, I think it's Annie.
Annie, the deceased wife.
I didn't see Bartimus, but I think I saw Annie.
I would like to use my empathy to see if I can reach out and feel if there's a presence.
Sure. Go ahead and give me the rolls required. This is one of your playbook moves, right?
Yes. Well, yeah. It's that's my special weird move that I get instead of use magic.
Okay. As Lucas is starting to calm himself, you can hear Lenore kind of flap her wings up in the tree. You haven't seen her in a little bit. But she kind of ruffles her feathers, gives a little bit of a caw. Lucas starts to fall into a little bit of a trance, and you hear a scream from up near the house.
Is it
You
a
hear
male
Bart,
scream?
You hear Bart scream from up near the house. So, Lucas, are you sticking with the 6?
Yep.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah, you hear a blood-curdling scream from up near the house as Lucas is trying to focus on the presence in the area. What would the other two of you do?
I start running towards the house.
Okay.
Yeah,
on a failure, I am overwhelmed with emotion.
Okay.
So I think I kind of double up and curl into a ball kind of thing while you guys go running off.
And Lucas,
I don't run off. I'm watching you like curl up in a ball, and Jacob runs off, and I'm just kind of like, and I'm like, Lucas, you okay?
Just like, oh shit.
Lucas, you are overcome with emotion, specifically a deep sense of loss. But as you said, you basically hit the ground, curl into a ball, your body racked by emotion and pain for a moment. As Jacob, your feet pound on the stone walkway, running back towards the house.
I run straight towards the house. If it curves,
you're just passing through trees.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think this is something I've experienced before.
Probably.
So I'm more like,
none of this is anything.
Oh my god, this sucks so bad. Just give me a few minutes. Just give me a few minutes.
Lucas is doubled over with a psychic headache, and Jacob's running straight through trees, phasing in and out of reality. And I'm like, what? So I've had enough of this. So Lucas is just kind of like convulsing on the ground. Not convulsing, but like
he's out of commission for a moment, but you hear him say, just give me a minute, I'll be okay.
All right, yeah. And Jacob took off through the trees, quite literally.
Yeah, and in the dark, he was basically, you lost sight of him immediately because he just was gone.
All right. Yep. So I've had enough of this. Like, I'm grabbing those iron bars. I'm swinging the crypt door open and getting my light in there and seeing what I see.
Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna jump. Okay, so trees and bushes, branches whistle past and through you as you sprint through the brief amount of wood line before you burst into the clearing, Jacob. You see the Cadillac kind of. The moon is starting to come out. It's still dim in the sky, but the Cadillac is parked behind the house. Large house, very dark windows. The whole house is just like this dark shadow on your personal horizon right now. It looms over the entire grounds. There is one light that kind of flickers up on the 3rd floor that you notice for a moment. But the other thing you notice is you see Bart kind of picking himself up off the ground right next to the Cadillac, and like puts one hand on the Cadillac and like is trying to pick himself up. He looks real shaky.
I'm gonna run with Bart.
Okay. You run up to Bart, and as you get to him, his flashlight is on the ground and just kind of throwing like a beam of light underneath the car. But as you come running up, he turns, and you see a mess of blood and meat on the side of his throat, where it looks like it's just been destroyed. Eyes fully white, and he turns back to you, and just in this very like, and then starts to swing his arms at you, trying to club at you, just wildly flailing. What would you do?
I need to make a read a bad situation check, I guess, first to see. I want to find out if he's actually dead, because it looks like he is, but I want to be 100% sure.
So before you try to defend yourself or fight back, you're trying to gauge the situation better.
Yes, I don't want to hurt somebody who isn't.
Okay. He does. His one hand does connect with your shoulder. Your natural hardiness is going to absorb that blow, but you feel like it didn't fully connect with you. You think that this is going to get worse before anything else. But go ahead and give me a read a bad situation to see what you can figure out. Okay, so you get to ask one question. And again, if the questions that are there are not perfect for you, let me know.
The only thing I want to know is he alive, or is this a?
So with your knowledge, especially with your background, he is no longer alive. It looks like he's been turned into some sort of a revenant and is fully dead. He's been killed and is working now for somebody else. He's a undead creature under something else's control.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
At which point, after he smacks you, you kind of stumble away. You can feel the sting, but as I said, your natural hardiness absorbed that blow. Looks like he gets his bearings. He's now fully on his feet. His arms come out wide, and you see his mouth kind of distend and open farther than the human jaw should allow as he starts to lunge at you.
Now I'm gonna kick some ass.
No, you got to tell me what you're doing, and then we say the roll.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. So his
gonna kick his ass.
His jaw starts to extend, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize he was up here." And I just kind of step back, and I go to sidestep the jaw, and it's not my fist. I like make claws out of my hand, and I'm swinging at him too because I actually have natural weapons.
Nice. Okay. All right. So now we'll do a roll to kick some ass. Okay. Good with and again, I don't want to ask every time if you want to use luck. So you guys just remember, if you want to use luck, you tell me. Okay. Okay. So you got a 9.
Yes.
Okay.
So we hit each other.
Yep. So he comes in, and with both hands, he starts to smash into you, as well as trying to bite into your shoulder. He's going to inflict 2 harm on you. What do you do to him? You slash him up?
Okay. So I have a base attack, a life drain attack, and now he's going to inflict 2 harm on me, but is that 1 harm or 3? Because I take 1 less.
He did 2, so your natural hardiness is going to soak 1.
Okay. So what happens then is I'm going to soak 1, and then I'm going to come across and smack him. Like, as he's biting me, I'm going to smack his jaw. And when I hit him, I'm going to life drain him, and he's going to take another point, and I'm going to heal a point.
Okay. So do you do 1 point?
I believe so. It says 1 harm. Yes, 1 harm. It says intimate, but I actually have my next ability. It makes it close range, so I can do it at a closer range.
Yep.
And that says life drain.
Okay. So,
and life drain gives me a point.
Yep. So the two of you
What if
clash
he doesn't
into
have
each
any
other.
life?
What's that?
What if he doesn't have any life to drain? Because he's already dead.
He does have essence, though. So as your claws dig into him, you do manage to pull a point out, which basically just tops you off, keeps you as if nothing had happened to you. You do see him stagger underneath that, still standing. But as he pulls back from there, you can tell this is he's a mindless thing at this point, and he's just still trying to attack and wail at you.
I'm just gonna. What I'm trying to do then at that point is put him down.
Okay. All right. So you're trying to inflict the most possible damage to him. Yep. Go ahead and give me another kick some ass roll as you clash into each other again.
Oh. 12?
Hold on, I don't know the rules. I gotta look.
Okay. As let me wait a sec. Let me just narrate this for a second. So as the two of you slam into each other, you start to tumble down into the ground. It's unclear who's winning right this second, but we're going to cut back to the crypt for a moment. As at the crypt, door swings open. You start to shine the flashlight in. Frank, you can hear like the pained groans behind you from Lucas. Inside the crypt, you just see like a little bit of dust floating in the particles of your flashlight. As you kind of move it along the different walls, you see the one faceplate that's cracked at a diagonal, and you get the impression something is watching you. Somebody or something is looking at you, but you're just not quite finding what it is. But the hairs in the back of your neck start to stand up.
Okay. Other than that, I don't see anything. Just a mausoleum, essentially a little family mausoleum with a cracked faceplate.
Correct, and that's you standing in the doorway looking around.
Yeah. I'm assuming this isn't. How large is this building?
You'd say maybe 15 to 20 feet wide by maybe 20, 30 feet deep.
Oh. So
you would guess, and it's probably the equivalent of a 2-story building. You would guess there's enough space in this for 10
like
to
a large
15 family members to be buried back here.
Okay. All right. Now I was picturing something smaller. So, are there, like, do I see many, burial spots, or just...
It looks like there are a number of them back here. Some of them much older, some of them much newer. The oldest ones start on the front left, and that's where that crack is. Yeah, okay,
right.
So you're standing in the doorway of the mausoleum, shining the flashlight around. You see the oldest names are over here. There's a crack over here. You feel like something is watching you. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, but you don't see anything else of note. There's probably 10 or 12 burials. There's maybe a few empties in here, but there's probably 10 or 12 in here. And you do see, I would say that you're a fairly observant guy as well. You've done investigative jobs. There's the dust on the floor. Like Bart said, he doesn't come in here very often. The dust on the floor has been disturbed. It looks like footsteps in and out of this place on a regular basis recently.
Okay. I'd say out loud, I'm sorry what happened to you, Annie. And then I go over to inspect the cracked facade.
Okay. As you say, I'm sorry what happened to you, Annie, you step over to inspect the cracked facade. You can see that the plate that would cover her, basically where her coffin would have been slid into, has been cracked at a diagonal. And with a little bit of, you're inspecting the edges of it, it looks like like Bart said, it didn't fall out or anything, it just cracked, so he doesn't know what caused it. It looks like when it was cracked in half, it was removed and then put back, because you can see newer adhesive, basically a stone adhesive that keeps them together. But it looks like somebody is not even very in a clumsy way has put it back, and basically put it back with an adhesive so that it looks like it's still where it's supposed to be, but clearly that was been removed.
Okay.
As you're inspecting that, though, your flashlight's kind of like shining on the marble in front of you. You're looking at the adhesive along the lines, and then a cold hand touches your shoulder. You immediately take 1 harm, which ignores armor.
Ignores armor. Okay.
Ignores armor. And you feel just this cold seep into your bones. Makes your the whole shoulder joint just ache and hurt as you stagger under the touch. You look back and there is this spectral woman. She doesn't look like she's trying to hurt you, but she put her hand on your shoulder, and that was enough to cause immense pain.
Okay.
And she says, you hear one word before she kind of fades away, and she says, "Take me." And then she just fades into darkness, leaving you kind of staggered against the wall. Lucas, outside, I think that you're just recovering enough that you happened to glance up and you saw this spectral woman touch Frank and then vanish.
Good.
Cutting back to the two of you tumbling into the dirt back up near the house. Jacob and Bart, as you hit the dirt.
I'm going to take this one.
Okay. As you hit the dirt, his
a little bit
teeth
harm,
latch onto you. What's that?
Might be a little bit harm, but I'm fine now, so I'm going to take it.
As you hit the dirt, his teeth latch onto your shoulder and his hands dig into your rib cage. He starts to just basically tear at you like a wild animal. It's a total of 3 harm from this, which you'll soak 1 and you'll take 2 as your blood starts to splash across the ground. And I think that now Jacob is a different kind of person. He's not. This isn't even your only body you've ever inhabited. Pain probably affects you in different ways than it would, say, Frank or Lucas. Does Jacob still cry out when this starts to happen? Because this is a lot of pain coming in your way.
Jacob doesn't. Jacob's been alive for a long time and been through many iterations and many masters and had to do a lot of stuff that has caused pain, and he's used to it. And this, as far as Jacob is, this is just flesh to him.
Okay.
It's not.
Yep.
It's a vessel.
The car's getting banged up, but the driver's okay.
Yes.
Yep. You hit the dirt. You start rolling around. He's thrashing at you. Are you going to try to? What are you going to try to do now that you're on the ground with him?
So now that we're on the ground, I'm just gonna try and flip him over and get back up. I mean, and as I'm getting up, I'm trying to inflict harm on him. I'm throwing punches or, knees.
So yeah, close combat, knees, elbows, getting up, using your claws. Go ahead and give me a kick some ass roll.
I don't necessarily have claws.
Okay. You have natural weapons.
Yes.
Oh, that was a little better.
Okay, now on an 11, you can try to inflict greater harm. You can inflict terrible harm, which is +1 harm, so that'd be a total of a 2 for you.
Okay, I have a couple questions here.
Sure.
Are monsters health-wise, are they random or are they the same as us?
They're random. It depends on what kind of monster you're dealing with.
Okay, and that's all I really want to know. If it was random, because I didn't know. I didn't know if they probably have the same stat, block as us roughly. I'm going to take a forward. I'm going to gain an advantage on this. So I am going to say that what I do is I push him down and I jump back, and then I'm able to set my stance to be ready for his next attack.
Okay. So you've disengaged from him slightly, giving yourself time to get ready in case he comes back after you. And you've seen what Bart has become is a mindless animal at this point, a mindless killing creature. But after you've distanced yourself slightly from him, basically hopped back, gotten into a fighting stance, the corner of your eye notices that 3rd floor light blink out, and you see Bart collapse to the ground. Like he just goes limp, like the strings of a marionette have been cut, and he just collapses to the ground.
I go run to the Cadillac and pop the trunk.
Okay.
Is there anything? And as I'm running around the car to where Bart is there anything in the trunk?
There's a sniper rifle in the trunk, along with probably like a tire iron and a spare tire. And hey, but Frank, what else would be in the trunk?
A bunch of tack gadgets and.
Okay.
Killing me here.
His prism gadgets.
Lucas, you are recovered and can get back to your feet at this point.
Okay, I'm wiping the tears out of my eyes.
Okay. And
Yeah,
Frank,
you
what are you doing, Frank, inside the tomb?
So I recover myself from the death touch I just got, and head back out of the tomb to meet back up with Lucas.
Okay. Yeah, Lenore, I think, has come down and is like, when you were on the ground, Lenore was like hopping around on the ground near you and like pecking at your feet occasionally. But now that you're back on your feet, she kind of like hops up and flies up into a tree.
Okay.
So I kind of limp out and I'm like, "You okay, man?"
Yeah, I'll be fine. I just needed a bit, took on a little bit more than I could handle, I guess. Did you find anything in there?
Oh, yeah. I got acquainted with Annie. It was a very pleasant experience for me, but I don't think we're gonna find what we're looking for in the crypt there.
Back to the house then.
Yeah. Did you even see what direction Jacob took off in? Because he just bolted. I don't know what was up with that.
It was towards the house, wasn't
It
it?
was towards the house in a very direct manner, yes.
So
back at the house, as the two of you start to walk, probably not super fast, either of you, you're probably a little bit sore, both of you. As you start to walk back up the path, back at the house, trunk has been flipped open. You see tech gadgets. You see sniper rifle. You see probably normal trunk accoutrement.
That was just a quick run by, and as I see that it's full of stuff, I just kind of slide next to Jacob as I'm running. I don't slow down.
You're
You sort of like
You slide next to Bart.
slide next to Bart. Sorry, I'm Jacob.
Yep.
I kind of like do a
you
slide
didn't
next to
know
him, and I just flip him over, and I'm like doing a bear hug to him, but keeping his face
Okay.
away from me, so that if the light flicks on and he reanimates, he can't. I have control of him.
Okay, you're restraining him just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say that as Lucas and Frank come walking out of the woods, you see Jacob on the ground with Bart. Basically got him in a rear chokehold, keeping his head controlled and away from him. And you can see in the very dim light an open wound on Jacob's shoulder. Looks like something bit him and tore him open, and there's just blood soaking his right shoulder.
So I run over there. I'm like, "Jacob, what the hell are you doing, man? You're gonna hurt him."
You do see when you get over there that Bart is, from all appearances, dead. Like, Bart's dead. He's not moving. He's fully limp, and you can see an open wound on the side of his throat, and blood all over his face, around his mouth, his jaw kind of opened and unhinged.
I say, watch the third floor. Just bear with me for a minute, Frank. Just bear with me for a minute. That light flicks on the third floor again. He's gonna go nuts.
I give Jacob a stern look and then look up to the third floor.
Okay. Third floor is dark. All of the house is very, very dark right now. You're not sure exactly what Jacob was talking about, but I think that all three of you, in the pregnant pause as you hold your breath waiting for something to happen, you all get the impression that though the house is dark, something in the house is watching you.
And after a minute goes by, and if the light doesn't turn on, and I mean, I'm talking a good 30 seconds to a minute, I'm just holding, and if they're not going to do anything, then eventually I'm going to let him go and get up.
Okay.
Inhale.
I was thinking about trying empathy again, but I think at this point in time, Marcus is feeling that's less of a good idea.
Marcus,
Lucas.
Y'all are having identity crises.
Motherfucker.
I think what I'll do is next time I'll get name tags and we can all wear our "Hi, my name is."
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
okay.
yep.
That's not going to work because Ryan's not going to see his own name tag, and I'm not going to see mine. Ryan needs to wear mine, and it should say Alan is Jacob.
Right.
Ben needs to wear Ryan's, and I'll wear back.
That's
I'm not even drinking, man.
So you were saying Lucas was thinking about using empathy, but what?
But I think because of recent events, he's kind of nervous about using it again so soon.
Okay. Lenore does land on the windowsill of the third floor. There's a couple windows on the third floor, but she lands on one specifically in the back of the building that has like a peaked roof, like almost tower-like if you look at the pictures. She lands on the windowsill and starts like using her beak to tap at the window.
Which, is that where I saw the light come on?
It is.
So I stand up. As I stand up, and you guys will now see that I have a bloody bite mark in my shoulder, and when I turn around, you'll see claw marks in my back.
Yep. Yeah, Jacob looks like he's been through the ringer for sure.
What the hell happened?
Something killed Bart. I can only think that it was Bartimus and used him for his own purposes. And as I'm talking to him, I'm going to, again, use magic and lay my hands and try and heal at least a point of this damage that I have.
Okay. That is... yeah, there's no advanced improvement on that, right?
I don't believe.
You don't have anything that does better than normal?
No.
So then, yeah, you do heal a point. So you start to staunch the flow of blood. Some of the flesh starts to knit back together. A little bit of a glow happens around it, and you feel slightly better. Still banged up, but your clothes are shredded and bloody.
And as I stand up, I say, we need to go see what's in that third floor.
I agree.
I say, Frank, you got any rope in that arsenal you got in the back trunk, in the trunk there?
Any rope? I don't have any rope back there, sorry.
Bungee cord, anything to tie a corpse up? We don't need it chasing us.
Well, I could put it in the trunk and then lock it. I'll take the sniper rifle and put it in the back seat.
Well, but I figured you'd want to take all your gadgets and stuff out of there too, because still a corpse, it's still got blood on it. It's gonna make a mess. See, if your trunk was empty, I was gonna throw the corpse in your trunk, but your trunk wasn't empty, so I went for plan B.
Oh, it's a caddy, man. They got big trunks. We can throw Bart or old Bart in there, and for now, agency can clean that up. They got a whole department for that, man.
Okay.
Okay.
So you stow the body in the trunk of the Cadillac, lock the Cadillac up, and then are going to make your way inside Hendrik House?
Yep.
Okay. The back door is unlocked, as Bart said it was going to be. You step into a darkened house. Is the only light the flashlight that Frank is carrying?
Did you have another flashlight in your trunk?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Because I'd like to take one too.
All right.
So a few of you have flashlights, carrying it into the house. Now, inside the house, were you staying together? Were you heading straight to that third floor window? Where were you going and how were you doing it?
I say we stay together, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Bart's dead. I think we take a tactical approach to this floor by floor. I think we need to clear the first floor before we even move up to the second floor. And I don't know that that's going to help us because if he's anything like me, he can just move down to the first floor when we move to the second floor.
So why clear then? Why not just go straight there?
What are we going to do? I think
What
we
if
all
he's on the
know.
first floor? I mean, he might not be able to fly, so.
I think we all know what we need to get first before we confront Bartimus. But where
Did
are
you
we
guys-
doing that?
Did you guys check his sarcophagus down at the crypt?
Yes. I do believe it used to be there, but it's no longer there. Someone removed it.
That was Annie's. Annie's was the one that had been cracked open, not Bartimus's.
Right, but well, she said taken, so I assumed she meant I don't know. She told me taken, so I'm not sure what that really meant.
Yeah, I think that we didn't mention that because of the state that Jacob was in, but Jacob, you would notice now that you've had some time to reflect on this, that there are probably like blown blood vessels and stress marks along the side of Frank's neck. Looks like something happened to him as well.
What happened to you?
Well, I was investigating the cracked sarcophagus, and Annie reached out, put her non-corporeal hand on me, and just said taken before she faded into nothingness. And it was a very unpleasant experience for me.
As you are standing in the kitchen, deciding on how you want to approach whatever your approach is going to be to the house, the back door of the house is still open as the three of you have stepped in. The garden out back of the house, you pass through it. It's summertime. You were smelling things like lilacs. You were smelling, flowers and normal outdoorsy stuff. As darkness fully falls, the last vestiges of any light in the world goes away. There's just starlight and moon. The smell of gunpowder starts to rise in the air, wafting in from the garden outside.
Like, what's that? It smells like gunpowder.
Ready my salt.
Are you guys taking a look outside, or what were you doing?
Yeah, I think with the
I want to make it, based on what he told me, though, I want to make an investigative mystery roll.
What are you trying to figure out?
Taken. I know I'm not down there, but I'm trying to put... Taken could mean a lot of things. Was her body taken? Was she killed? And was she taken early? What is she talking about?
Okay, so you're trying to put some of the clues together that you don't have all of it, but you're trying to figure something out like that. Okay, you can give me an investigative mystery roll. A 5?
You know what?
Sticking with that 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going to use the luck point.
Okay.
I'm going to use a luck point.
So you're going to go straight to a 12 then.
What are your repercussions for using a luck? Or
my curse gets stronger.
Okay.
You guys don't know what my curse is, though, so.
Not yet.
Right.
So you get a 12, which is a perfect success, which means you can hold 2 on Investigate a Mystery. That's 2 questions you can ask.
So I want to know, okay, can I add, now it's on the scene, right? So the hole down in the crypt is counted?
All of the whole Hendrik house and grounds are one scene. So if you want to hold it, you can.
I want to know that I have the question. The first question I want to ask is, with the crack across her sarcophagus, what happened here?
Okay. And you did see that because you stuck your head through enough. Yep. So there is some. So based on this, what you saw and the information that Frank gave you, you think that at some point somebody got into her crypt, and if you had to take a wild guess based on how you've heard other ghosts react to things, how you've seen other things throughout the many, many years that you've been alive, Annie's remains may have been removed from her resting place.
And somebody tried to put it back together, it looks like, which means that possibly her remains were taken.
Right, yeah. It looks like somebody busted in, most likely based on her reaction and what you're seeing, somebody removed her remains and then tried to cover it up.
So, based on that,
so that's
Lucas
one.
and
that's one.
Yep, and I'm gonna hold the other one for now.
Okay.
So based on that, Lucas, Frank, should we go bust open his crypt or should we run through the house?
And as you ask that, the other two of your friends, as you're kind of figuring something out, the other two of your friends have peeked out the back windows back into the garden. Maybe 50 feet from the back of the house, there's a recessed swimming pool surrounded by a garden, and you see the spectral figure of Bartimus Hendrik walking through the garden with a revolver in his hand. You see red flames lick up around his feet as he walks, and then extinguish as he moves his feet from stone to stone. He's just kind of walking, looking at the grounds, looking at towards the crypt. He looks over towards the house, but doesn't seem to notice you. He's just looking around the grounds, carrying this revolver, which he occasionally looks at, like he picks it up and looks at it in his hand before dropping it back down to his side.
Well, if he's out there, maybe we got some time to do some looking around in here without getting jumped.
What do you do?
So do we want to go check the third floor window then?
I think that's, yeah.
Okay.
So are you making haste, or are you trying to be careful about this?
A little both.
I don't have a light, so I'm following them.
Not only do you not have a light, none of you know the floor plan of this place, so getting to where you're going is going to be a little bit of a trial and error thing. But the three of you start making your way. You know that at least how to get to the second floor. There's a stairway right in the front for you. Mm-hmm. You go out there, you make your way up to the second floor. As you're passing the painting of Annie and Bartimus, Jacob, you're the last one. You're the only one that got a close-up look at this because you came up here last time. Annie's face, last time you saw her, was sad, and she was kind of like looking off to the right. In this painting, she's now looking at Bartimus with a expression of fear in the painting. Bartimus still looks as he did before, but she's looking at him with an expression of fear. You pass by that painting. There's long, dark hallways with closed doors.
As we go by the dark hallway, I'm going to say, guys, Annie's face has changed. So there's definitely something with the painting, too. I don't know if it shows the current state of the ghost. Did I happen to notice how Bartimus was?
Bartimus looks basically haughty and proud of himself. He's looked the same each time that you've seen him in the painting. But
so I don't know if the painting is something that just is telling us their state of mind or if it's something else.
This painting captures the essence.
As an aside, guys, you guys can roll investigate a mystery.
Yeah, you can. You can if you're trying to figure something out as you start to talk through it. If one of you would like to try to do that, you can.
I mean, it seems to me that somebody piecing it all together that, and knowing what we know about spirits, I wonder if somebody's trying to banish the essence of Annie by stealing the remains. Maybe that's why she's still in fear. I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. You continue on past the painting down the dark halls. There's thick carpets that line all the floors, huge oaken doors with antique brass doorknobs. This house is old enough that there's still some of the old candle chandeliers that hang in different places. You pass through a few different rooms. You find another set of stairs that goes down. But eventually, after a little bit of trial and error, wandering around on the second floor, you're not going into every room. You're looking for a way to the third floor, correct?
Mm. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Eventually, you do find a small, I call it a half door because it's not the full size like you've seen on a lot of these bedrooms and and studies and whatnot. But this is like a thinner door that opens up onto servants' stairs, very steep stairs that head up towards the third floor. And you begin to climb your way up those stairs. Out of curiosity, these are it's a narrow stairway. Who would be first, second, and third?
I'd probably be first. I've been lighting the way and everything, and keeping an eye on what's ahead of us, and obviously where our footfalls are and everything, but also seeing if anything, keeping a mindfulness of our surroundings as well.
Okay, so you're first on the set of servant stairs going up to the third floor.
Yep.
I think I'd be bringing up the rear.
Okay. As you get about halfway up this set of very narrow stairs, and it's narrow enough that your shoulders only have a few inches on each side, and the stairs are very narrow, like only about half your foot fits on each of these stairs. It wasn't built for comfort of the people that own the house. It was just so that the servants could get from one place to another as easily as possible to not disturb the owners of the house. But as you are making your way up these servant stairs that kind of go up and then cut back, a reddish glow at the top of the stairs begins to seep out of the floorboards, and then coming out of the floorboards, you see Bartimus start to rush down the stairs. His hands are empty, but one hand reaches out to try to push you. Frank, how would you react to that?
Try to throw a handful of salt in his face. Or actually at his center mass, not in his face.
Give me some kick some ass. Give me a kick some ass roll.
You can do it.
I can't do it.
You can use luck.
I think I will burn a luck on that one.
Okay. So when you do use luck, you don't mark the experience for the failure, by the way.
Right.
I didn't.
Okay. So you're gonna use a luck point and make that a 12?
Yeah.
Okay. As Bartimus, there's like this low. He starts to rush down the stairs at you. You see the glow, the red glow behind him of the flames that lick up around his feet. He reaches out to touch you as the handful of salt scatters his presence. And there is a loud howl that happens within the confines of the stairs. He is dispersed, but the howl itself does 1 point of ignores armor damage to all three of you.
I don't have any armor.
You don't have armor, and I think your durability soaks that 1 point.
I was being a smart ass. That's why I said that.
But
I don't have to take any. I take one less from everything.
Right. Yep. But yeah, the other two of you take a point as just like your ears ring. You both feel like just splitting headache as just this otherworldly howl just echoes along the stairway. But he is dispersed for the moment. You know you have at least a minute or two before he can reform. So you kind of stagger back. Everybody slumps into the stairway a little bit. Jacob, you're in the middle. You're more resilient than your friends, especially when it comes to this sort of thing. You managed to shake that off a little bit quicker. But then are the three of you rushing up to the top of the stairs?
Yeah, that's once I'm able to, I'm gonna.
Well, I'll kind of brace Frank so that I can shake it off and kind of help him. And I'll say, Lucas, be careful, and I'll keep moving up with Frank.
Okay.
Just kind of helping him regain his footing.
The stairway eventually leads to a third floor landing of a large circular room at the top of one of the towers of the house. It's got a number of windows, but one window in particular faces out the back of the house. Inside this room, there are a couple doorways that lead to other parts of the house, but you know you're in the room that you were looking for. There is for lack of a better word, there's like a reading chair, a table, and an old oil lantern that face the window, and a silver-plated revolver that is covered in dust next to the chair on the table.
Jackpot.
Well, I'm gonna head over there and pick up the revolver, or attempt to pick up the revolver.
Okay.
Unless I take psychic damage from that too.
No, you walk over. The revolver itself you pick up. It's an old weapon, but well made, and strangely not tarnished by the passage of time, other than the dust that covers it. But as you pick it up, and the three of you stand in this room for a moment, Frank, you pick up the revolver, and the lantern kind of and then starts to glow, and stays lit as you're holding the lantern.
The revolver.
I'm sorry, as you're holding the revolver. Yep.
So, I mean, it's a revolver, so I should be able to see if it's loaded or not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're familiar with firearms. It's a fully loaded revolver.
Okay.
And you can, looking and inspecting it, you're familiar with standard revolvers. There are a few minor mechanical differences to this as far as the way that the chamber releases, the way it would be, reassembled. This is his own invention, but it's similar enough to other revolvers that you won't have a problem using it.
With single action or double action?
You have to cock it in order to fire it.
All right.
What are the other two of you doing while now lit by this golden glow from this lantern?
There's bullets in that weird looking revolver. That's what I'm doing. I said, I'm hoping there's bullets in that weird revolver.
Gotcha.
And I say it's definitely loaded, and I do pull the hammer back. Since it's double action, I'll pull the hammer back and just leave it like that.
Yep. You cock the gun.
Yeah.
All right. Lucas, what are you doing?
I'm wondering how long it's going to take him to come back after we just dispersed him with salt.
That's a good question.
So, Jacob, this is the room you were talking about, right?
I shake my head. I say, yeah, there was a light on in this room. I don't know if it was a lantern. I don't know.
So I'm going to throw one thing out here too that all three of you have now seen. It's a detail that I think that because you're all professionals at doing this, that you would have noticed eventually. You've seen Bartimus now a number of times in different locations. Inside the house, when you've seen him, he's never been carrying a gun. Outside the house, he's always been carrying a gun.
And it's the same ghost?
Same ghost. It's the same one that pushed you off the landing. It's the same one that tried to shoot Lucas. It's the same one that was wandering in the garden out there. Same one that attacked you on the stairs.
Did the revolver appear to be similar to the one I'm holding right now?
Identical.
Okay.
But it seems like he only has the revolver when he's outside of the house.
Well, gentlemen, I think we found our smoking gun. Yeah.
You hear the ripping and tearing of metal from outside the house.
Tearing them out.
That's your car. You might want to...
So I looked down because
the lantern came back on. It came back alive.
From the car, we could see the car from the lantern.
You look down out the window and you see Bartimus, the ghost of Bartimus Hendrik, standing next to your Cadillac, and has reached through the trunk and is pulling, and it looks like he's pulling the trunk open, and the trunk it's locked. There's a ripping and tearing of metal as the lock breaks, but he's just bending the trunk open, and you can see the movement inside as Bart is trying to climb out.
As Bart starts to climb out, I walk over to the lantern and I go, and I blow it out.
Try to blow it out. It weirdly does not blow out. Like, you pick it up and you blow on it, and the flame seems to continue. In fact, it's not even generating heat. It's just lit.
All right. So if that's the case, then I'm going to use my weird to try and see if I can figure out, right? I can use my weird to try and see if I can figure out what this is.
What the lantern is?
How far away is the car from the window? Like, are we relatively close?
50 feet. You're within close range, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
And the pistol has a range of close.
Yeah, I was going to say, within as a trained, marksman, yeah, would he be in pistol range? I guess
he is. He's within pistol range.
I'm gonna use
how many rounds does the cylinder hold?
5.
5.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, Alan?
I'm gonna use weird to try and banish to snuff out the lantern, banish the spirit or curse from the person, object, or place it inhabits.
Okay.
That's a use magic.
So as Frank is looking out the window, kind of gauging distance, checking the cylinder to see what the gun's capable of, behind him, Jacob starts to focus his energy on the lantern. Go ahead and give me a use magic roll. And what is Lucas doing at this moment? Lenore, by the way, is still on the outside of the window, just kind of watching you.
This is, you got a shot? Take it. I'm grabbing my assault and heading back downstairs.
Okay. What does it look like as Jacob uses his magic to extinguish the lantern?
So Jacob takes the lantern and he sets it on the ground and he flops down as fast as he can beside it, and he just concentrates his will as he puts his hands kind of like encompassing the lantern and just forcing his will over the lantern to put it out.
Okay. The lantern itself, like, it almost feels like darkness pushes, despite the fact you have flashlights in the room, darkness starts to push in on the lantern, making the glow of the lantern get smaller and smaller and smaller, as a little bit of sweat breaks out on Jacob's head, before finally you bring your hands together, the light extinguishes. You hear the pounding of feet as Lucas runs down the stairs, running back towards the ground floor, is what you said?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
As you're realizing the distance and that you might have a shot, you start to bring the gun up, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
The light behind you goes out from the lantern, and you see Bart go slack and stop trying to climb out of the trunk, which causes Bartimus to look up towards the 3rd floor and begins to raise his gun up and point it towards you as well. Would you fire at him?
Yes, I would.
And he's firing
take
at
my
you
shot.
as well. So,
Okay.
Twin reports, guns firing at each other, glass shatters. Lucas, as you're hitting the 2nd floor, sprinting down the hallway, you hear glass shatter, the retort of firearms. Go ahead and give me a kick some ass roll.
Jesus, a terrible roll, and I knew that. 12. No, I rolled 12.
Okay, so gonna use another luck point, yeah?
Doubling down.
All right, you roll another luck point, so you get a 12. So on a 12, okay, you're allowed to choose one extra effect. That's, you can get an advantage going forward, a +1, or give a +1 to somebody else. You can do more harm than normal. You can take less harm, meaning that maybe you shy away from the bullet that he's sending your way. Or you can force him somewhere else. Like, you can force him to somewhere else. What would be the extra effect you'd try to apply?
Probably shy away from damage.
Okay, good call.
Yeah.
Your bullet blows the window out as his comes ripping up through. You do shoot him, and you see as you make a connection. Like, you aim. You've spent hours on the practice range. You've trained with firearms for a long time. Your bullet takes him high in the shoulder, and you see part of his essence just scatter away. He cries in pain, and you see like the flames around his feet kind of grow higher, and he kind of staggers. At the same time, this spectral bullet rips into your shoulder. Now you're taking 1 less harm, so you're going to take 3 harm.
3?
3 harm.
I'm actually taking 2 because I have black vest, so I've got armor.
This gun ignores armor. This is a spectral gun, so 3 full harm. Armor won't do it.
Okay.
Where does that put you?
In trouble.
Frank also ages 10 years.
Oof.
You feel like some of the moisture leave your skin. You feel your skin dry and crack. Jacob, as you're getting up off the floor, you see the blood spray from Frank getting hit sprays against the wall. You see a streak of white appear in the hair on the side of Frank's head. You both stagger. Frank, would you stagger away from the window from that, or are you going to try to maintain the position?
I don't know. If I think I aged 10 years, I don't think I'd be able to hold a position of advantage.
Okay. So I'm going to say that you collapse backwards away from the window and kind of stagger, maybe put your hand down to steady yourself on the table as, Jacob, you're getting up. Lucas, you're tearing down to the first floor now, going as fast as you can. Were you heading towards the back of the building?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say within... Well, would Jacob, you do anything at that point? I think that you could react before Lucas would clear the building.
Jacob's going to get up. Say, Frank, are you okay? Do you need anything?
I would look over to him and say, I don't feel so good.
Throw me the revolver.
I'd wing it over to him.
Okay. So there's a moment where you check on each other, the revolver passes, and Lucas, the door, you bust out the back door, you see Bartimus standing next to the Cadillac, the trunk ripped open, one arm of Bart hanging out limp, and Bartimus is just pointing his gun up at the third floor of the house as you come running out.
I heard the gunshots.
You did.
And he's still standing.
He does look diminished. It looks like that when Frank shot, Frank had the gun. When Frank shot, he must have hit him, and it must have diminished him quite a bit, but it doesn't look like it finished him off.
I'll take cover, but I'm like, need to shoot him again.
So you dive behind. Really, the only cover at this point outside the house is the Cadillac to keep it between him and you. So you dive down.
I was clear of the house by the time I got sight of him.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Then I'm ducking behind the car. No, I'll duck behind the car, and I got my salt ready in case I get if he gets close.
Okay, you dive behind the car and you yell, and the two of you up in the third floor through the broken window hear Lucas's voice. You need to shoot him again.
I will move towards the window and gun at the ready, looking down. And if I see Bartimus, I'm gonna point the gun and pull the trigger.
Okay, you run over to the window. And you do. Bartimus hasn't moved. He's just been waiting to see if somebody's going to come back to that window. As you lean out, both guns fire. Go ahead and roll for finesse.
Would maybe Ryan have distracted him when he yelled out enough to help out Alan?
Do I still have advantage?
You had a +1 forward, I believe, that you saved.
Right.
Okay. Hold on. That's a good point. I will allow Lucas to roll a help out to see if that did distract him. If you want to, Lucas.
I will try.
Okay. Just remember that on a failure on a help out, you expose yourself to danger.
Got it.
But that's a good call. It's a good that's good rules lawyering. Okay.
That makes good sauce.
So, as you yell "help out,"
I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, that was Alan.
Oh, that was
Alan.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't look at who rolled that. I just looked at the number. Was that with the +1 forward?
Yes.
Okay. So you'd get another +1 because of the.
Would still just make it an 8.
Still.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. All right, but you didn't draw attention to yourself, Lucas. You managed to distract him enough. He looks towards you and then looks back. Both guns fire. 3 points of ignores armor. Basically, the gun rips into you. The bullet rips into you. Jacob, now Jacob's body ages 10 years. And you take 3 points of damage, which you reduce to 2 because of your nature.
Right.
The second bullet from the gun does hit Bartimus, and with that second bullet, that was enough to scatter his essence. You hear a deathly wail that shatters all of the windows on the back of the house, as well as all of the windows in the Cadillac. You hear Lucas. You're just pained. Like, you were so close to this when it happened. It's like a bomb going off. You're just covering your ears and laying on the gravel. You see the fire. Jacob, you're the one in the window. You see fire as he starts to dissipate. Fire boils up around his feet up to his torso, and you see hands reach up out of the ground, grab him, and then drag him down into the ground as the fire goes down with him, and he is no more. And with that, you have finished the mystery at Hendrik House.
Yay.
You guys all right up there?
Well, so Frank, are you unstable? Do we need to worry about that at all?
I'm unstable. 100% unstable. I'm not doing good.
So do we need to worry about Frank?
So why don't we say for a wrap up that you guys pile into the car and drive to the hospital?
We can do that, or I can use magic to stabilize him if he's not too bad.
What would you like to do?
How far into unstable to dying are you?
2.
2?
Into,
That's 2 spells. I'm going to try and stabilize with magic first.
I was about to say, can't you use it to stabilize him? Not healing anything, just making him stable?
No, because so the way this works is after you're past 3, you become unstable and you're going to take more damage over time. I don't want to go to the hospital because I don't want to have to explain what happened to you and everything. You know what I mean? Because you got a ripped up trunk. We got a dead body in the trunk. Does that make sense? Are you guys good with that?
Yeah, if you can stabilize me, that would...
I can try. That's the best I can tell you.
I could have swore I had a thing that can help me heal as well.
Lucas, would you go back up to check on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I yelled up. If they don't answer, then I'm definitely going back up.
Okay.
I got a 13.
You know what? On a 13, because it's an advanced success, I'm going to say that you do 2 points in one spell, and you bring Frank back up to okay.
So
you were only 2 points into dying, right?
I had 5 total. Now I'm at 3, so I'm stable now.
So you're in the
on
the okay side of it. I'm gonna say that as Lucas comes running back up the stairs, Jacob, you're basically passing your hands just above. You don't heal the aging, you just heal the harm. So Frank is 10 years older than he used to be. So is Jacob, but Jacob's body is different. But Lucas, as you come back in, you see Jacob basically healing. You see a little bit of light nimbus glow on Jacob's palms as Frank is breathing a little bit more steadily. There's blood sprayed across the room in here. Window, broken glass all over the place. The gun is still in the room. And you see both Frank and Jacob looking markedly, like, not dramatically older. 10 years is 10 years, but 10 years in the span of seconds does leave a little bit of a mark that it'll take a few days for them to kind of get past. But we're going to...
You guys look better.
Yep.
I look at, as we're going down to the car, I'm going to look at Frank and go, we can always figure out a spell and reverse that. It just might take a little bit of doing.
I don't know. I don't mind being a little gray.
And that'll wrap up completely Blackwood95 now. I don't know.
Well,
You know what I mean?
It'll wrap up Hendrik House, but
Right.
just as the dovetail in the end of this episode, we're about to wrap up. I'm going to say that as you get down to the Cadillac, that Frank, your flip phone goes off. You're getting a phone call.
No, I'm
getting basically that phone call. What's that?
I'm getting a page. I'll have to return the. I'll have to call them.
You're getting a page from Prism that they're asking you to check in, and then we'll pick up with that phone call, the details of that phone call next time. But for today, we're gonna wrap up. Thanks for joining us. Hope everybody had fun, and let's check us out next time and see what other kind of trouble we can get up to in Monster of the Week. So thanks everybody.